Is your fear of failure stopping you from moving forward with your health coaching business? If it is, this is something that comes up for most aspiring health coaches, that when they're first getting started, they have this huge fear of failing, and it can really hold them back from actually being able to move forward and get the results they want in their business. And so in today's video, I'm going to give you the 6 steps that you really want to take in order to move through this fear and be able to go on and create the successful health coaching business that you want, and the freedom and the prosperity that that brings into your life. Super important, and it's something that we can all do, but one of the biggest barriers that holds us back is this fear of failure. And so what I want you to know is that we all have a fear of failure, okay? And every coach that I've ever talked to about starting their business has told me about this fear. And it doesn't matter how many trainings you have, how many certifications you have. If you have a background as a doctor, as a nurse practitioner, a physician assistant, an occupational therapist, a health coach, like you have a background doing, technical work, like it doesn't really matter what your certifications are, how long you've been going to school, how many degrees you have. We all have this fear. So first of all, I want you to know that, because a lot of times we think that the solution is to go and get more trainings and to continue to do more and more trainings. And it really doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter how many you have. I hear this from everyone. Okay, so that's one thing I want you to know. The other thing is, since everyone does have this fear, it's the people that feel this fear and they go ahead and they do it anyways that go on to be successful and create a successful coaching business. So that brings me to the question then, what is the keys to actually being able to feel this fear of failure and moving forward and building the business you want anyways? And that is what I'm going to go through in today's video. So step number 1 is recognizing how the brain works. And most of us are being run, a lot of our life is being run by our primitive brain, which is really like our fight and flight, and our primitive brain wants us to, it's really run by the motivational triad. So the motivational triad tells us to conserve energy, seek pleasure, and avoid pain. And that's kind of the underlying programming that is running our brains. So starting a business is not aligned with what our brain wants us to do, because it wants us to chill out, sit on the couch, watch Netflix, eat lots of yummy food. Doesn't want you to be putting energy towards things that are like creative and might be scary and that you've never done before. And so just know that this is the programming that's running your brain. And so that's the resistance a lot of times that we're hitting against when we think about doing something new, something out of the ordinary, something that we haven't done before. Your brain is going to say, don't do it. Like your brain wants to run on autopilot. It wants to keep doing what it's always been doing, because that doesn't take energy. It doesn't take effort. It doesn't put you out in front of situations that are uncomfortable, right? And so that's what your brain wants. And so in order to overcome that drive, you have to use the frontal part of your brain, which is higher functioning, that us as humans have, and we're lucky. But this is what allows us to go forward and go after goals and our dreams. And so we have to override that functioning and use that part of our brain. Okay. So that's the first thing, just to understand like how our brain is working and why it doesn't want us to go after our business dreams and our life dreams. Like it wants us to kind of keep things simple, right? So that's the number 1 thing. The second thing is that new things are uncomfortable. Just like I was talking about, like your brain wants you to keep doing what you've always been doing. The brain wants to run on autopilot. So when you think about doing new things, it's uncomfortable for your brain. And it's going to bring up this fear of, I don't really know what I'm doing. What if I make a mistake? What if I hurt someone? What if I don't do it right? And so what I want you to think about is, I like to relate it to like driving, right? When you first started driving, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to run something over. I'm going to hit someone. I'm going to crash. And as you start driving, you get really comfortable at it. And now you probably don't even need to think about it. You just like get in the car and it's all on autopilot. And all of a sudden you're at your destination and you're like, I don't even remember like the drive I made. And so this is for any new skill. When we first start it seems very challenging. We really have to think about it. And we're afraid of not doing it right, just like driving. But as you start doing it, it just becomes second nature and you build up the skills and the confidence to know that you can do it and you can do it well. And I also relate this back. I was talking to a physician's assistant last night about starting her business, and she was talking about the same thing too. Like, I'm afraid I'm not going to really know what I'm doing. I'm not going to do it good enough. And I said, I'm thinking back to when I first started chiropractic and I first started seeing patients. And I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, I might hurt someone. And, it was really scary. But as I started doing it, I built up that skill and that knowledge to feel comfortable and confident in it, right? But the only way I did that was by doing it, by practicing it. And so we have to do the same thing with coaching and with working with people in this way. You have to do it and practice it to get good at it and to build up that confidence, okay? So that's the second thing. The third thing is that a lot of us are really afraid of what other people are going to think of us if we fail, okay? And the truth is, other people really don't give a shit if you fail, okay? I hate to break it to you, but other people aren't like really watching you and your life, and they don't really care what you're doing because we are all obsessed with ourselves and our own life. We are all the center of our own universes, okay? Like, that's just the way it is. And so if you really think that people are caring about what you do, they most likely aren't. And if you do have some people that really care about what you're doing, and if you fail and what you're trying, then they must be very bored with their own lives, okay? So I think it's important to think about that. The other thing is that anyone who's gone after their dreams and pursued their passions is going to tell you to do it. And that's the truth. And so the people who are telling you not to do it, the people who are maybe looking at you and being like, oh, you failed, or like you made a mistake or whatever, those are the people who aren't going after their dreams, the people who aren't happy probably with the life they're living. Because if they were, they wouldn't give a shit what you were doing, okay? So let that go. It does not matter what other people think. All that matters is what you think and what you want to do, okay? So if this is one of the things that you get stuck with, being worried about like, what if I try and what if I fail and what are other people going to think? Let me know in the comments below, because I know this is a big one for a lot of people, but it doesn't have to hold you back. Because like I said, if other people are going after their dreams, if other people are like happy with their life and they're pursuing their passions, they don't care what you're doing. Why would they care? And they know that it's a really amazing life that you have when you are living that way. And so they would tell you to do the same thing, okay? So just think about this a little bit. And like I said, let me know in the comments if that is something that you find holds you back, okay? So the fourth piece is, a lot of times people think that building a successful business is luck. Like, sometimes it works for some people and sometimes it just doesn't work for other people, and it may work for other people, but it's not going to work for me. And what I want you to know, and I know this from working with lots and lots of coaches, helping them start their businesses, is that we all have the ability to be successful in our business. And it's a decision to be successful. It's a decision to keep going and to keep learning and to make mistakes and to keep trying. It isn't luck. It works for some people and it doesn't work for other people. It's literally your decision to make it work, okay? And the people who fail are the people who give up. And sometimes they give up because they think it's too hard, too challenging. They don't want to keep fighting that part of your brain that tells you to sit on the couch and watch Netflix and eat food, because like I said, that's your primitive part of your brain telling you to do that. You have to go against that to start your business. And you're going to constantly be going against that. And so that's why it's important to know why it's so important for you to start your business. Like, what are your driving motivators? For me, it was having freedom, flexibility, being able to do work that I was super passionate about, being able to make as much money as I wanted to be making and not have some sort of limit on that. And so those were like huge motivators for me. And those motivators were enough to make me push through the discomfort of going against the motivational triad that's telling me to sit on the couch and not do anything, right? Okay. And so really recognize this, and that, you know, some people may go and they may try to start a business and they decide it's not really for them. It's not really what they want to be doing. And that's fine as well. But at least they know, right? At least they know, they've tried and they know. I have never heard anyone say that I regret trying to start my business. I've never heard anyone, even if they decide after trying that it's not really what they want to be doing, it's not really their thing, maybe they don't want to be an entrepreneur, I've never heard anyone say they regret it. Have I heard people say they regret not trying to start a business or not trying to go after their dreams? Heck yes. So think about that. And that brings me into the next step, which is number 5. And I want you to ask yourself, what is the worst case scenario? What is the worst thing that's going to happen if you pursue your business, if you pursue this vision you have for your business? Let's say you fail, whatever that means to you. What's the worst case scenario? You might be out some money that you invested in your business. You might be out the time that you invested in your business. People may be like, oh, I saw you started this business and you're not doing it anymore. Why? Okay, so that's like the worst case scenario for a lot of us. But really go into that for you. Like, what are you really scared of happening? Maybe you're scared of like losing all your money and living on the street. And I would ask, is that really what's going to happen? But dive into that. Okay. Like, what are you really scared of happening? And let me know in the comments. Like, what are those big scary things that you're afraid of happening? The worst case scenario. Okay. Number 6, I want you to dive into what is the best case scenario. What is the best thing that's going to happen if you pursue your business? Okay, what is your big vision, your dreams? What is the best thing that can happen? And I ask people this and I literally hear them light up and they're like, I'll be having my own business. I can set my own hours. I'll be able to travel around the world. I can work from anywhere. I can be making 6 figures, 7 figures. I'll have more time to spend with my family. I won't have to go into work every day. I can work from home. I can work from the beach. Really endless things, whatever it is that you want for you. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself that. What's the best case scenario? And then I want you to think about this. So I asked you what the worst case scenario was. And you may have came up with some things like being out the money that you invest in your business. And then I want you to think about this, that the worst case scenario is actually missing out on the possibility of your best case scenario. You're not even giving yourself the chance of having that best case scenario come true, okay? So that I really think is the worst case, like just not even giving yourself the fair chance to see what is possible, to see what you can create, to see what you can put out into the world and what kind of business and life you can build for yourself, okay? So I want you to go through all these, like really think about them, answer these questions for yourself, because it's going to really help as far as this fear of failure not holding you back from moving forward in your business, okay? So if you found this video helpful, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want more videos just like this. I post new videos every week. I dive into everything you really need to know about starting a successful coaching business, the things that hold us back, the steps you need to be taking, all the things. So if you want more, subscribe. You can hit the little bell and it will send you a notification each time I post a new video. And if you want more of this, if you want to dive deeper into the steps of starting a successful coaching business, I have a free training for you. It's the 5 steps to start making money as a health coach. So I'm going to put the link for that training right below this video. I highly recommend that you check it out. Really walks you through the steps to get you up and going and have clients and money coming into your business. And the other thing is, if you want to speak with me about working together, I do offer free consultations, and I will put the link for a business breakthrough session below this video. So if that is something you'd find helpful, you want support, you want step-by-step support with setting up your business, I'd love to speak with you about that. So I want to thank you so much for joining me with today's video. Do not let the fear of failure stop you, because the possibilities are so worth facing that fear. I promise you. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you in next week's video.